Here's your video answer key for the Accelerated Math Unit 2 test review. You do not need to watch this whole answer key. I've provided a physical copy of the answer key too. I'd like you to go through and only watch the ones that you got wrong. There's no need to watch the ones that you got right, especially since this is a review. I'll break it up so that you can click on individual problems and just watch those problems. So this is the video for problem number 1. Mrs. Nichols wants to make maple syrup. She puts a tap in a tree in her backyard to collect sap. After 3 hours, the bucket has 1/4 gallon of maple sap in it. Assume the sap flows at a constant rate. At what rate is sap flowing into the bucket? So when I think about rate, I usually think about time as my independent variable. So I'm thinking gallons per hour, right? Because then hours would be my independent variable, or my x, and gallons would be my y. So I'm taking 1/4 gallon per 3 hours, or let's multiply this out. 1/4 divided by 3, which is the same as 1/4 times 3 over 1, which is 3/4 times 1 over 3. I apologize. I was dividing by 3, not multiplying by 3. 1/12 of a gallon per hour. So if you missed that because I messed up what I wrote down, I'm sorry. So what I said was 1/4 of a gallon in 3 hours is the same as 1/4 divided by 3. That's what this means. I accidentally wrote 1/4 times 3, so that was my fault, but I've changed it, so please make sure your paper is correct as well. 1/4 times 1/3, and I multiply straight across to get 1/12 of a gallon per hour. So that's my rate. Write an equation that represents the relationship between the number of gallons filled, y, in x hours. So if we weren't sure before that y and x corresponded with those variables, now we're definitely sure. Remember that my equation is pretty straightforward. It's always y equals k times x. And we know our k already. It's right here, 1/12. So my equation should be y equals 1/12 x. C. Let's pretend Mrs. Nichols is using a 5-gallon bucket. After how many hours will she need to replace the bucket? So now I'm saying that my y, which is my gallons, is going to be 5. And I want to figure out how long it's going to take for that bucket to be filled up. So I'm going to take my equation here, y equals 1/12 x. Instead of y, I'll write 5. So I get 5 equals 1/12 x. To solve for x, I need to get rid of that 12. So I'll multiply by its reciprocal, which means I'll multiply both sides by 12, right? 1/12 x times 12 will just leave me with x. When I do this on the left-hand side, I've got 12 times 5, or 60. And on the right-hand side, 1/12 and 12 cancel out, and I get x. So she'll need a new bucket after 60 hours. Now that does seem like a long time, but remember, I'm only getting 1/12 of a gallon per hour, so it's going to take me 12 full hours to get just 1 gallon of sap.